You know, I really hate it when I lose an article and now I have to sift through fucking Twitter of all places to try to find, you know, something that proves my goddamn point. You know, so here's the study, right? That claims that 48% of Gen Z feels that sex and sexual content is not needed for plot of most TV movies. For the plot for most TV movies, 51.5 reportedly want to see more content focused on friendship and platonic relationships. Gen Z need to learn that sex is great. They'll be happy if they did. Yeah, and again, my argument is how much is this enforced, right? How much is this something that is imposed on the market as opposed to how much of it does the market legitimately want? Like Gen Z, so we're talking the current generation. I don't even know what generation I'm part of, and frankly, I don't care. Like, I have the things that I like and the things that I don't. And I don't like this really cheap way of shoving marketing where it's like, oh, we ask a subsect of a subsect of a subsect of a market, and 50 some percent of that subsect of a subsect of a subsect of a market doesn't want this thing, therefore, what we're doing is a good thing. It's like they're being very disingenuous. Source. This better not bring me to fucking porn. IndieWire. What in the fuck type of. You gotta love these fucking. Goddamn. Fucking. What the fuck's wrong with my mouse? Click. Click it, please. See study. Gen Z wants less sex on screen. Prefers platonic relationship depicts a romantic roller coaster. Okay, again, they show Euphoria, which again is a new show that I personally don't care for, but again, they didn't poll me. Like, if I'm part of Gen Z, it's like, look, the way I see it is it's like ice cream, like icing on a cake, right? What they're doing is they're scraping off the icing and they're shaming you for being like, well, the icing made the cake just a tad bit better, right? And of course, if you eat nothing but a lot of icing on the cake, it after a while you get sick of it. But then if there's this movement to remove the icing from any type of cake and all you have is the cake itself, it's like, well, can we please bring the icing back? Like, I was kind of sick of the icing, but I didn't want it to go away completely. And then you're shamed, you're ridiculed, you're called an icing. What would be like an icinger? You're called this morally charged label, right? And it's like, oh, if you want icing on the cake, you got to go to a completely different uh, country on the planet, and they'll sell their cake with icing. Like, this is what's happening with sexuality. And again, we're not just talking tits and ass and sex, particularly. We're talking just normal heteronormative relationships. And the same people that want these things taken away are the same people that have the type of fetishes that you need to Google. Like, I look online, and there is a correlation between, like, furries and people that want the heteronormative relationship. So, the type of relationship between a man and a woman that there's no strings attached, they don't cheat, they just truly love each other. Like, they want that stripped from entertainment completely. They want to shame you for wanting it. It's like, okay, you can have a couple things like this, but they want all of it removed, right? And they're fine with showing cock, right? Like, in the boys, they show dick and balls. And to my knowledge, the new Star Wars The Acolyte, they show dick and balls in House of the Dragon, Dick and Balls, but they cannot show a beautiful woman to save their life. Like, no, we're not even talking tits and ass, just a beautiful woman. And again, I say these things, I sound like a Kuma, right? You know, with, this used to exist when entertainment was selling. Now, I'm not saying it's because of the tits and balls, but again, tits and ball, the tits and ass. But again, it's one of those things where it's like it just made, there's a lot of things that made Western entertainment in the past good, but, you know, tits and ass just made it just a little bit better to the point where there's too much of it. But again, my point is, we don't know how much of this is imposed, right? We don't know how much of this is journalists. Because we see games like Stellar Blade, where there is this movement to make the game adult only, and not for anything that's pornographic, just because there's a beautiful woman that you play in the game, right? There was this movement to make it adult only, you know, and you have this, odd ideology that goes after anime for some goddamn reason, you know. Oh, I mean, we know the reason, obviously, because animes and, you know, direct competitor to Western entertainment, and it's beating the fuck out of Western entertainment. So what they do? They release an article saying there's a pedophilia problem in Japan, but they ban the article from Japan. They win a Pulitzer Prize, then the article just disappears. It's almost like they were ashamed of that article. It's like, if you legitimately believe what you're saying could help people, one, why ban it from the one country that would benefit? Assuming what you're saying is correct, right? Because I think you're batshit insane. But assuming what you say is correct, why ban it from the one country that would benefit? And then why get rid of it? You gave it the prize, you got the standing ovation, but then they completely nuke it from the internet like it never existed. So it's like, what was the what was the point? What were you hoping to achieve? Oh, you just wanted it to just be there for the normies, right? Well, the normies know better. The normies know that you're just shitting on anime. And to be fair, there's some of the most fucked up anime that exists, but there's also some of the best anime that has existed. I'm of the opinion that in entertainment, risks must be, again, offense is subjective, like equally as subjective as art, right? But because a hot woman offends someone, it needs to be taken away. It's like, so why you have the things you want to watch in the entertainment you want, and I have the entertainment I want, and we never cross. Like, we huddle up in our own fucking tribes and just sit there. But what I don't understand is, why do you want the things that are meant for me to go away? And in fact, if I'm like, well, you're an idiot, if you don't like this, don't watch it. You spurred the fuck out at me. You spurred the fuck out at people who were like, okay, do not change this remake. I get it. You have this ideology that demands you piss people off, even most of the time for no reason, right? The point is to take away people's choice. They straight up tell you this. They're like, yeah, no, we want to take away your ability to choose what entertainment. Like, you can only watch Netflix, right? You can only watch cooties on Netflix. That is all you're allowed to watch. And if you don't, you're a bad, bad man. You're a bad, bad person. You can only watch AJ and the Queen from Netflix. You can only watch Euphoria, some goofy shit that I don't care for. Like that is all you're allowed to watch. You're not allowed to watch anime because it makes you weird. It makes you, I guess, in this case, a pedophile. But I've heard just about every, you know, morally charged label under the sun. Like I've heard it makes you a sexist. I heard it makes you a racist. You know, from some fringe minority online, but these are the people that, you know, these journalists want to cater to. You know, they want the useful idiots that will absolutely spend time and effort to go clickety clack on the keyboard to fight their battles for them. And, you know, when this happens, you get people that just are like, well, fuck you. I'm going to just, you know, move. Like, it's getting to the point where people are literally just learning Japanese just to get around these. Because it happened with the localizers. It happened with community managers. I think there was a site, what they called Pixiv. I think it was this Japanese site where they can sell art, and there was apparently there was this influx of CP, and what Pixiv found out was it was coming from the West, so like the UK and America, because they found out that, and it was 100% malicious, right? Because they found out that the same people that were putting it, like uploading it to the site, were the same people reporting it and blabbing to call, like, you know, payment processors and companies to get it to get the site ticking down. And so what happened was Pixel just bans the UK and America, and miraculously the CP stops. It was like a miracle. Now, grain of salt and all, but we see these tactics being used, and again in entertainment. You know, like there are people with this ideology that believes you are not allowed to enjoy the things you like if it goes antithetical to their ideology. Like these people exist. It was that way with the Christians. For some reason, people don't think it's this way with, you know, the woke idea. And by woke, I mean feminists, Black Lives Matter. You know, they don't believe people of these ideologies would act this way, or if they do, they pretend they don't exist, even though these are the types of people that push you, that push just normies away from the ideology, and they'll eventually call the normies racist and sexist, these morally charged terms. But again, you have Japan absolutely blowing America out the water with entertainment. And why? It's because they legitimately ask their market, their consumer base, what they want, and they give it to them. You know, they don't impose rules and standards on everybody else. They're like, okay, what do you want? And they're like, oh, well, I guess we want, you know, wholesome relationships. You know what they used to do in Disney movies? You know, and people say guys don't like romance, and I'm like, bullshit. Like, I don't know a single guy who did not like a Disney movie that had romance in it. Now, I mean, Disney isn't. Obviously, Disney now isn't as good as it used to be, but I mean, I could go back and watch some of the old Disney shows, but I mean, again, I grew out of it. Like, better animation exists. But I'm just saying, you know, this idea that men just do not like uh, romance is idiotic. I mean, I don't like, you know, the Twilight type of romance where this absolute average girl has rich guy A or rich guy B to go with. She gets confused, so she sleeps with rich guy C. Then she finds out, oh, I guess B is the type of guy for me, even though, like, he straight up raped me. I mean, that's effectively what one of the plots for the Shades of Grey was. Shade of Grey, I think that's what it's called. 50 Shades of Grey. You know, this man literally forces himself on her. And again, that's the things, you know, single women like, right? And I'm not demanding these things go away. I'm not demanding these things change, but they're just not for me. But what I don't understand is, why do you want the things that I'm into to go away? And again, there's people of the ideology and people in these positions that 100% aim to take these things away. And there are people like, and Americans, right? There are Americans, home of the free, land of the fucking brave, that are like, yes, this is the way it should be. Like, people should not have the freedom to choose what the hell they want to watch, right? Because my ideology demands they don't. I'm like, okay, who's the fucking fascist? Like, you're telling me what I watch and what I consume in the sanctity of my own home makes me a bad person, and therefore it should change. And then you go after me for being like, it's fiction, shut the fuck up. Like, that's gonna be my argument from now on. It's fiction, shut the hell up, right? Because most grown ass adults think this way. It's just for some reason companies want to give lip service to this fringe, ideologically charged minority of people with daddy issues, and are like, oh no, this is our consumer base now, when the actual consumer base just moves. Like, they leave Western entertainment altogether and they move to anime. But anyway, I'm ranting. That's all I gotta say about this. See ya.